Welcome back, everyone. In yesterday's video, we finally got the RX7 put back together and running again. I did not do that. Pretty much fired right up. There was no issues, but the moment it did fire up, it stumbled a little bit and then decided to start revving and just destroy our eardrums. It was terrible. But that was my fault. The throttle is not closed all the way, so we have to adjust the throttle cable. But honestly, that's kind of a good sign, because even with a ton of vacuum leaks and an open throttle, it started up after sitting for 2 months perfectly. It was awesome. So that means this is a pretty healthy engine, especially if you're having 100,000 miles on it. It's pretty good. Which I do want to clarify. A couple of you guys are like,
hey yo, where's the turbo? This doesn't have a turbo on it. Is this the old motor?
Yes, it is. If you didn't see the video where the shop flooded with mud, which you can go check it out, in that video I pretty much decided that I was not doing the Turbo 2 swap anymore. With having to move shops and tax season coming up and some other things, I couldn't afford the Turbo 2 engine, the ridiculously overpriced Turbo 2 engine that's more expensive than the 2JZ. So we decided to put the old NA motor back in after refreshing it, and we're gonna do as much as we can to get as much power out of this little thing as we can. So yes, this is the old motor that came with the car, but we are making it nicer again. We're gonna get rid of this mechanical fan, replace it with some electrical fans so we can get more power. New custom cold air intake, a full exhaust, and some other things. And then we are gonna dyno it and hopefully make as much power as we can out of this little 1.3 liter. I'm hoping for like 160 wheel horsepower. It makes 160 crank horsepower from the factory, and with a couple mods, we should be above 160 horsepower, wheel horsepower, and we'll have to make do with that. But what we are doing today is fixing the idling issue. We're gonna adjust the throttle cable, make it so the throttle is not open, and then we're going to attempt to fix all the vacuum leaks. Now, SmartGingium kind of threw away a lot of the vacuum stuff because I didn't think I was gonna use this engine. So we kind of have to make do with what we got. We might have to delete some things and do stuff. I don't know. It's kind of like a nightmare. Anyone who has ever worked on an RX7 knows that the emissions on these cars is just terrible. There's vacuum line everywhere, and it's just, ugh. The sad thing is I can't delete all of it with the stock ECU. It wouldn't run right, so we have to keep it. But we'll try to make this work. Fair warning that I'm not going to record much of the vacuum line fixing problem because it's just vacuum lines. It's not entertaining to watch. You don't even know what's going on. So I'm just gonna fix it and then start it, and then you know that I fixed it. Cue the time lapse. Let's see if that fixed anything.
Way louder than I expected.
Exactly. It's idling perfectly. That's ridiculous.
Shut that off?
Yeah. I'm realizing there's either no oil pressure or the oil pressure gauge isn't connected. The car ran perfectly. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. Starts right up, idles perfectly. The one thing that's troubling is that the car supposedly doesn't have any oil pressure. The gauge in the dash was reading 0 oil pressure. However, I'm guessing I just missed a plug somewhere because I'm fairly certain it's making oil pressure because there's definitely oil in the exhaust because of the OMP, and the OMP wouldn't be working without oil pressure. After a little bit of research, I think I figured out our problem. That's the oil pressure sender right there, and it is unplugged. So I just have to find the plug and plug it in, and hopefully we're all good. I think we found our culprit. This little guy looks right. However, it can't reach the oil pressure sender because this ground up here is too close, or it's too far away, so I can't move it. So I'm gonna have to undo that ground, move the ground, then plug the oil pressure sender in. All right, let's see if that worked. We got oil pressure, boys! It's so loud. I'm gonna go ahead and let it warm up, check, see if there are any leaks, and then pull it out. So I wanted to see the sun, finally. Moving under its own power. That is a good feeling. It couldn't be better, honestly. Like, there's no idling issues, no overheating, no nothing. I need to add coolant after bleeding it some. Everything's working brilliantly. Like, I guess that's what happens when you put the same engine back into the car. I thought I couldn't do it, and I did, so that's awesome. We're gonna clean up some things now because it's still looking quite dirty. This white engine bay has got to see some love already, and we're gonna be good. Well, that looks really Audrey, can you not? That looks really awesome. Yeah, she decided to paint the alternator Nardo gray, and it looks fantastic. Makes it look a little bit less like a turd, so that's good. We back to black to the radiator, cleaned some things up. I rewrapped the engine wiring harness, makes it look a lot nicer. Also, we're gonna have a nice polished aluminum intake going into like a cold air intake box right there, so that's gonna look nice. I really like the way the lettering turned out. A lot of you guys suggested that, and yeah, that was my plan all along. It looks really good. The car looks better. The car runs great, and it sounds like a lawnmower on steroids. The next thing we're doing, obviously, is the exhaust, because we can't do anything with the car until we have an exhaust, because we can't drive it without an exhaust. And the reason why I'm not just putting the old exhaust on for temporary reasons is because I cut it off. So I'd have to weld it back on, and I can't do that. Well, actually I could, but it'd be a pain in the butt. I ordered everything for the exhaust, all the piping, all the mufflers. We're doing like a straight pipe with a muffler thing. It should be pretty loud. It should be pretty awesome sounding. It would sound better if it had a turbo on it, but that's obviously didn't happen. I know a lot of you guys are kind of disappointed that we might be selling this car, but it's not for sure. All right, I'm coming up with something that might make it so I am able to keep the car and still do the WRX swap. Either way, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. I'm really excited. I want to drift it because we haven't really drifted it in forever. If you guys like the video, give it a like. That was pretty good, Audrey. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it.
And tell me why.
God. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Another thing that I also always forget to say is follow me on my other forms of social media, Twitter and Snapchat. I update you guys a lot on those so you can actually know what's going on in between the long periods of each video in between. You know what I'm saying?
Get a t-shirt.
And don't forget to get a t-shirt and support the channel. Help the WRX swap happen. Help this happen better.
Key tags too.
Yeah, we have key tags, but they're kind of old. Oh, bye. So bad.